Hello, hello, and good morning or afternoon. My name is Faith Walker. I am the Executive Director for RV Rapid Transit, and I want to officially invite you to this month's, the first of this year's Transit Talk. RV Rapid Transit is a nonprofit dedicated to advocating for frequent and far-reaching public transportation in the Richmond region. And we do that in three ways. We want to see more buses go more places, people having dignified places to wait. And then last but not least, we want to help bus riders elevate their voices in transit planning and decision making. And so, before we get started, I do want to give some housekeeping notes. Um, this event is recorded, and so we would ask that everyone will please place themselves on mute. In the event you do have a question, we do have Q&A lined up at the end of the presentation, and if you could please, we love to see comments and thoughts within the chat. But if you have a question, please hashtag it, hashtag Q, so that myself and the presenter will be able to make sure your comments get read. So with further ado, I want to turn it over to Richard Hankins, our Programs and Communications Manager, who's going to give us some news and updates of what's happening in transit in the Richmond region. Richard, please take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Faith. Hi, everybody. My name is Richard Hankins. I'm the Programs and Communications Manager here at RVA Rapid Transit. We're so happy to have all of y'all here today. Some familiar faces, some new faces, so thank you for coming. It's been pretty slam-packed for transit news, so maybe we'll take more than the 1 or 2 minutes I usually do. As some of y'all may know, GRTC has had a massive increase in service just over a week ago. And all service finally, at long last, has been restored to pre-pandemic levels. But on top of that, that coincided also with the really massive expansion and the biggest we've seen since 2020. The 19, which goes to Short Pump, is now a high-frequency route at every 15 minutes. We're so happy to see that support in Luff and Henrico County. And every other 19 now serves Goochland County, going to the sheltering arms right by 288 and Broad. While that's very exciting, arguably the biggest news is that the 1A has been extended into Chesterfield County, going to the Midlothian Walmart on Walmart Way, past Chesterfield Town Center. There was a ribbon cutting for that, and you can see on the right, we have 3 Chesterfield supervisors posing in front of the bus, and then one of their head transportation engineers. So we're really, really happy to see that. Also today at 5:30 at the main branch of our public library, there is a meeting that GRTC is hosting about making the downtown transfer station permanent. That is super exciting. We got editorial in the paper last month asking for that very thing. And I have heard rumors that not only do they want to make it permanent, they want to integrate it with some sort of skyscraper or tower to have a bus terminal combined with some other use. So we're really, really happy to see that. And then also, we have been making our way into Virginia's General Assembly, supporting HB 285 that we support. It is the Better Bus Stop bill. We can see our transit ambassadors, Sarah and Stephanie, wearing T-shirts saying Virginia's bus riders deserve dignified places to wait, with the chief patron of the bill, Dolores McQuinn. And then our research fellow and I, we worked on what's on the right, which is a one-pager explaining the bill. We did do a full transit talk on this mess, but long story short, it is a complete nightmare to get a bus shelter installed because one agency, the Virginia Department of General Services, has basically decided to make the process as painful as humanly possible, and then some. This bill does have bipartisan support, and should this bill be passed, it would cut DGS cleanly out of the process, streamlining the installation process and cutting months of unnecessary bureaucracy. As you can see, one of those stops affected by that is where, when I talked about the 19, that is where the transfer is from our bus rapid transit line to Pulse, and it's far from ideal. So that's what I have. a lot has been happening. It has been an incredibly eventful start to 2024 that I know any staff member on this call can attest to. But it's been a lot of fun and there's a lot of good momentum. Stephanie, shall I turn it over to you for the writer's voice?
Definitely. Thank you, Richard. And yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Glad you're here. So my segment is the Rider's Voice. So I'm a transit ambassador with RVA Rapid Transit, myself and two others, Sarah and Diana. Our main job is to do outreach, public outreach. So we just yesterday, even Diana and I were down at the downtown transfer station speaking with riders, letting them know about the meeting GRTC is hosting tonight at the library, like Richard mentioned. So we're hoping that folks will turn out if they have opinions they want to share about making that transfer station permanent and what GRTC's plans are. So today I've got a couple comments that have been collected over the years by our team. And both of them kind of center on also what Richard shared about this new route, this 1A that's going all the way through Chesterfield, deeper than GRTC has ever gone in that county. And it's like long overdue, really exciting. So these are two examples of why folks want more service out to the south side, specifically out through Chesterfield. And hopefully, I don't know if we're still in touch with Jacqueline or Amanda, but hopefully they are served by this move by GRTC. So, Faith, I think you're gonna play them, right? You want to start with Amanda?
I'll play them. Yeah.
Oh, you're good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my name is Amanda Nunez, and the reason I would like a bus to go out to Chesterfield is because my parents live out there. They actually live over there off of Robius. So it's kind of hard for me to visit my parents if I got to take the bus because, you know, they don't really come out like this because of the COVID. So that's all I would love to see buses go out to Chesterfield.
Yeah, just the importance, right, of families being together, especially if the pandemic is still around and um, fare is free right now, so that is very helpful for folks to get to where they need to get and for people to be more together across this region. Um, but if we don't have a bus going out to the south side and to deeper points, then people can't be together. So hopefully this, like I said, the 1A extension will be really, really helpful. And then we've got Jacqueline, who also has just like really practical explanation of why we need more bus line.
Now, if you got money to get an Uber or a Lyft, you can do those things. But if not, you've got to walk. And in Southside, there's a distance. Because if you take that Midlothian bus, it's not going any further than Centaur College or Rock Creek. But there's people that live beyond Rock Creek. And I have to lift. That's $12 each way. Then get on the bus. Then go where you have to go to work. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, exactly. And so now that 1A again, it is going well past Centura College, like Jacqueline spoke of, and Rock Creek Apartments. So um, yeah, we're just really hopeful that that will help serve more people. I think that's all from me for today, so I'll turn it back over to Faith.
Thank you so much for the work that you do and getting those writers' voices. It's amazing to see comments like Jacqueline 2 years ago spending $24 a day in getting to work. And as you can imagine how expensive that is, and especially if you're an hourly worker. And so the access to the Chesterfield Town Center and even all the way to Walmart and to the Sam's Club is going to be tremendous on people's budgets. And so I don't know if Jacqueline still has that position. We've met so many people, Stephanie, talking with folks who have had positions, been offered jobs on the spots at different job fairs and had to turn that job down because they realized that the bus stopped at a certain point. And so this not only is giving those people opportunity to have more employment, but this is just life-changing for them. And so this is amazing. We're so proud of the partnership and the commitment Chesterfield and GRTC has made. And so hopefully, Stephanie, when you're going back out, we will hear stories of opportunities of people getting employment and jobs. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, I just got a message from someone in the chat that they said they were on the
Okay.
1A the day of the extension, and a rider was using the bus to go to a job interview at Chesterfield Town Center, something she couldn't have done the week before. So it's so true. Um,
Amazing.
yeah,
Absolutely
just
amazing.
opens up opportunities for people.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
love it.
And
Thank you so much for that comment.
yeah, thank you for sharing that. And can you imagine the return on investment? And even also speaking to some businesses, you know, how challenging has it been to fill these positions that you're offering when people can't get there? So I'm excited to get comments and see a year from now the change. And this route is potentially where the new um, Pulse or the new bus rapid transit will go. So, us on the call, let's continue to get the word out about this route, because what we want to do is show the impact and how successful it is. And so the idea is within 10 years that this pulse can happen, but we wanted it to happen sooner. So let's make this route so successful by sharing that. So thank you again, Stephanie.
Awesome.
All right. I want to just thank our guests. I just want to transition to while we're all here. With all of this new expansion now, we have the opportunity to navigate the system in a whole new way. And one of the things that I've connected with bus riders on over the years when I'm talking to them is using apps and being able to use technology to navigate, know when buses are coming. And just recently, GRTC has partnered with Transit, a state-of-the-art app that helps bus riders and people using public transportation navigate cities all over the world. And so we have a special guest with us today, Ivana. She is a part of their Partner Success program. And so what she's going to do today is share with us how to use this wonderful app and the benefits of using it, and give us a tutorial. And so with that, I want to invite Ivana to take it away.
Thank you so much, Faith. And I mean, thank you so much to the whole RVA Rapid Transit team for having me. I always love speaking to people who are so passionate about transit. I mean, we definitely are here at Transit. It's, you know, kind of our whole thing. And yeah, it'll be a pleasure to introduce you guys to the app and show you the ways that, you know, we try to, you know, additionally make it easier to have, you know, reliable transit service in your city. So I'll share my little presentation here. Do you guys see it all right?
Yes, take it away.
Perfect. So hello, GRTC riders. I know it's not just GRTC riders. We have, you know, obviously riders from all over Virginia. So hello to everyone, really. I'll be running you quickly through what Transit is as an app, how it works, and then we'll be talking about what our partnership with GRTC looks like. Like Faith mentioned, we started working with them actually in October, very recently. And so, you know, we're really excited to sort of see what this partnership can bring. And then we'll also look at some additional features of our partnerships that you may see in other cities when you travel around. So Transit as an app is now active in over 300 metro areas in 16 countries, bunch of continents. We're launching new, you know, feeds every day. It's very exciting stuff. And, you know, in a very short explanation, Transit as an app is really designed to get you from A to B without your own car. So this means that when you open the app, you can really see all the different options that are available to you without having to really tap on anything. Our focus is on public transit, but we also integrate ride hail, bike share, scooters, etc., you know, wherever it's available. And it's an app that's available for iOS and Android. I'll run you quickly through what the app looks like. So this here is the home screen. It's what you're going to see when you first open the app. It is designed again to give you all the information you might need at a glance, and I'll just go from top to bottom here. On the top left corner, you have your app settings, as well as your Go avatar. I'll explain what that is. You have the blue dot here, that's your current location. If you ever move the map around, it turns purple to indicate that you're somewhere else. You have your little search bar here. You can type in any address you want to go to, and also your instant trip planner. It just tells you how to get to whatever your saved locations are instantly. Personally, I have like my home and the office saved. I used to have my school saved back when I was a student. And then below that, you have all of the lines. And it tells you not only the line name and when it's coming, but it also tells you, which direction it's going in, and also the stop that is nearest to you. If you need to change directions, you can swipe left or right. It's meant to be intuitive, but the first couple of times that the app is opened, or if you like download it, it will kind of like jump out at you. And I promise that's not the app bugging. It's just telling you that you can swipe to change directions. Once you do tap on a route, this is what's going to come up. And again, I'm going to go down from top to bottom, running through this route detail screen. At the very top, this little smiley face, that's where you're going to see a leaderboard, which tells you how many go points you have. Again, I'll come back to what those are at the very end. Underneath that, you have a blue dot. Again, that's your location. And here, this bus icon is going to tell you in real time where the bus is. So for agencies that have this kind of data available to them, we like to tell riders, really as precisely as we can, where exactly their bus is, when it's going to come, because I think we all remember the time when you kind of had to stand at a bus stop and hope that it would show up. We're trying to really take that uncertainty out of the equation. And this little 6 over here, that's just the last time that the bus location was updated, so you can kind of have an idea of how accurate it is. Underneath that, that's the route name again. This 4.7 stars, that's the rating that we get. We survey riders every once in a while, and we ask them to rate their routes. So that's how this one is performing. That's pretty good out of 5 stars, honestly. After that, you have the timeliness, and any other information you might need about the route is going to be up there immediately. So if there are any alerts or detours in place, that's also, you can get that information right away. Afterwards, you have, again, the direction. You can swipe to change direction here, the nearest stop, and then the next departures. And this little wave here next to the departure time, it indicates it's in real time. So you can really trust that this is an accurate time for the bus that's coming. If it were in gray, that would mean that it's a scheduled time. So it's the time on the schedule that the bus is meant to come at, but real life happens, detours happen. You kind of have to take that into account. Afterwards, you get to tap here if you want to look at more departures, and underneath that, you'll get to see all the other stops that are on the route and any of the transfers that you can make on them. We have a little card, going back to this slide, you see the little real-time card. If you tap on it, it opens this up, and it just lets you guys know, what the difference is between real-time and scheduled time. So if ever you wonder, what's the difference between all these different colors of numbers, that's where it's going to show up. And this is also how you can tell that a bus trip has been canceled. So agencies publish service alerts. You are going to receive those in the form of a little exclamation mark and a triangle. And those are going to really allow agencies to communicate with you, what issues are going on their, during their service. So if you ever want to make sure you always know what's going on with a specific line, you can pin it by tapping this little icon here, the pin icon, and choosing to get push notifications sent to your phone directly. You can get those either all the time or just during rush hour. So, let's say it's your commute bus for when you're going to work. That's the only time that you'll get those notifications. And it's just another tool we like to have on hand to, keep riders really informed about, whether they can get to the places they need to get on time. We also have trip planning capabilities, and it's very simple to plan a trip. You just have to type in your destination in the search bar, and we automatically give you a trip. We'll always show you the best 3 transit-only options first. And then if we integrate any other services like, bike share or scooters, we'll show that underneath that as well. In Richmond's case, we show well, because we don't have those integrations, we just show walking and biking on your personal bike. You can set the time that you leave. You can also set the time that you need to arrive by. If you're perpetually late like I am, then that's a very useful feature. And you can also switch out your origin and destination on this screen as well. And Transit also has accessibility options in the settings part of the app, including the option to prioritize step-free trips. Globally, almost 4% of our users have some sort of accessibility feature enabled. So, we really try to provide as much good information as we can to our riders. So you can always tell when a trip is accessible based off whether it has a little red icon that's going to be not accessible, little gray icon if it's unsure, or a little blue icon if it is accessible. And if you need audible instructions, our Go functionality also provides that, which is very useful for riders with visual and functional impairments. I've been speaking a lot about Go, so now I can finally reveal what it is. It has 3 main purposes. The first being it's just a step-by-step trip companion. If you've ever, mapped something out on Google and pressed on like start trip, the principle is very similar. It guides you through your trip. It lets you know when you need to leave the house, when you need to change lines, when you need to get off. It's really good if you're unfamiliar with a city because, it tells you exactly where you need to go. But, it's also very useful if, for example, you're going somewhere you've never gone before, or if you just enjoy getting that kind of accompaniment, on your everyday commutes. It also helps us because we anonymously crowdsource your location. So in the event that, let's say real-time data isn't all that reliable, we can tell other riders exactly where the bus is in real time. And lastly, we also survey our riders whenever they take trips in Go to ask them some very important questions about their commutes. So, we think it's important for agencies to, have this kind of information available to them so that they can really get an idea of what their services look like to their riders. It started out over COVID when we were trying to get crowding information, more robust, so that people knew what kind of, crowding situation they were getting into in the context of a pandemic. We've since expanded it very greatly. We actually went through a very recent expansion where we started asking about stop amenities and the state of stops, whether they're seating, whether it's clean, whether it feels safe. And all of that information and data can really help a lot of agencies, make their systems better by letting them know what it is that it looks like on the ground. We had a case study in California actually just come out of an agency that actually used this survey to make a whole catalog of their stops. And just immediately, the second they saw that there was, let's say, graffiti at a stop, they knew exactly which stop to send a crew out to. So that's, we're trying to be, a bit more than a trip planner. We want to really provide a way for agencies to, know what's going on with their system. And I'm now going to talk about Royale. So Royale is Transit's premium version of the app. While core features, remain free, there are certain elements now that require a subscription to access. We'll take a look at what those are in a sec. But a big part of our partnerships with transit agencies is that this subscription is paid for by your agency and gifted to you, the rider. GRTC has been sponsoring Royale for their riders since October 11th of last year. And so for those of you who are in Richmond, you may have seen this purple screen letting you know about the upgrade. And you may have even discovered that you can change the transit icon in your phone to look like GRTC's logo. And we really do this to make sure that, riders know their agency is trying to facilitate their everyday commutes and make them smoother. And that includes giving them full access to, a trip planning app that is reliable. We have over 100 agencies now sponsoring Royale, including a nice little network in Virginia, actually. I can think of Lynchburg and Virginia off the top of my, or Lynchburg and Williamsburg off the top of my head. So yeah, we're trying to really be across, have a really robust network for all riders. Taking a quick look at what this looks like without the subscription. You'll always see real-time departures for all lines, whether you have the subscription or not, but you just can't tap through all of the routes to, see the details of them. When you look at future departures, you'll also only be able to see the next 5 or so. And you'll be limited to getting the next 2 or 3 best trip plans suggested in the trip planner, but without the ability to explore additional routes. So that's this little icon here. And lastly, of course, we're going to be telling you about Royale in the app, just to explain what it looks like, how you can subscribe. And if you can't afford it, we also give you the option to get it for free, no questions asked. So with Royale, though, which, I expect you all probably have now from your agency, these limits are erased. There's also some great new extras for, our power users, you might say. For one, you can customize the app, so you can set your own themes, you can change the icon. I personally change my icon every time I change my phone background, so it looks prettier. You can also choose your own avatar and your name. When you take a trip and go, you can choose to have that avatar show. And I think it's really useful because if you're trying to catch the same bus as, say, a friend of yours, you can tell which bus they're on because their little icon will be there and you can make sure you get on the same one. But, say you don't want people to be looking at all that information about you, no worries. You can also go incognito and be anonymous. And lastly, your name can appear at the top of the leaderboard. So, I think there's a lot of people who find that, this is a feature that they really like to, it's a point of pride to be number 1 on the leaderboard. So that's what that gives you. And, Royale, though, is a lot more than also making a paywall go away. We want riders to be able to rely on the transit app to see important messages from their agencies or buy tickets or use on-demand services. And when agencies work with us, they can integrate all of these things into just one app. And this last part of the presentation is just going to be about taking a look at what other features you might encounter when you open transit in other cities. So, last part. Like I said, agencies that get Royale also get the chance to integrate these additional functionalities like mobile ticketing, on-demand microtransit, micromobility. I'll just go over quickly what they are. Oops, that was not supposed to go there. There we go. Obviously, ticketing is kind of the obvious one. You can buy tickets in transit app directly, and that's a really useful feature because we're able to basically bring in any provider's backend and just display it on our phone. We also integrate on-demand services. So that includes things like Uber and Lyft. We integrate those in our trip planner, but it also includes a lot of agencies on-demand services. So say there are some on-demand services that, extend far beyond the regular bus route. Our trip planner is able to take those into account and also fill in your personal information in the on-demand app. And lastly, micromobility. If there are any things like e-scooters or, bike share, we're also able to integrate those into the trip planner and lead you directly to their app, fill in all of your information so that you don't need to, re-enter your credit card information every single time. The point of this is that regardless of which provider your agency is working with, we want you to be able to access all of these features on one interface with one account. If you go down to Lynchburg, for example, we want you to be able to just open up the same app you always open up and buy a ticket and not have to really worry about figuring out a whole new system. We're also constantly trying to innovate and really push the boundaries of what information we can give riders through the app. This detour integration is one of my favorites because it was developed here in my home city of Montreal. We're famous for our endless road work and the detours that come with it. And so we worked with our local agency, the STM, to develop a tool that could automatically detect detours on the ground and use AI to locate detoured stops. And so here, instead of having to just have a little service alert that tells you there's a detour, good luck, we actually visually show you the path that was canceled and then the new path that the bus will be taking, as well as all of the bus stops that it will be stopping at. Agencies can also get their messages out through banners. These are really great for communicating big upcoming service changes or distributing surveys. Actually, I think is one of my favorite ways I've seen them used. We really like to get transit users' opinions out there. I think it's very useful to, rely on this tool to fill those community meetings with friendly faces, If you're in Richmond, you may have actually seen a banner that lets you guys know that the 1A route has actually been expanded. Will you guys excuse me just 1 second, actually?
We'll hold off until Ivana comes back. And then remember, we are going to answer all of your questions. So if you have a question, what you can do is just put #Q before, but I do see a few. So once Ivana finishes up, we'll get to those questions. All right, and she's back. Take it away.
Back. Thank you so much for the interruption, or sorry about it, actually. But yeah, you may have seen the 1A route expansion get announced on the app. So those banners are really great for agencies because you can actually just tap through to see the information that they've provided. All of them mostly are linked to URLs. So if you ever see one on the app, give it a tap and see what comes up. Our app also comes with a really thorough user-facing documentation that was put together by our support team. We really want to make sure that the app users and just transit riders in general feel like they can get everything they can out of the app. And so you can pretty much find anything you need in terms of information on this website here, which I believe will be circulating this this presentation, so you'll get to tap through and see what it looks like. Our team also takes care of any bugs that you might have with the app. So you can email them and let them know any problems you've had. And this is a service that's available in English, Spanish, and French. If you do need to get in touch with us, this is how you do it. You just go into your settings, you tap on the little transit icon here, and you email us. And so, yeah, if you have any remaining questions about the app, this is where you can, forward them, and really quick to get back to you. We're always happy to get feedback, questions, whatever it is you need. And that is how you can reach us. that's all I had. Again, thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I hope it was a good introduction to the app. I'm really excited to see what questions are in the chat, and I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
Oh, right. Well, thank you, Ivana, for that. I'm excited to dive a little bit deeper in this app and to use it more when I travel. So I believe there was a question that I saw. Let's see here. Is there a way to look up a second line for arrival status while you're already well, when you already hit go on a
So
trip? Mhm.
yeah, unfortunately, while you're in Go, since it's already like tracking your this one trip, you can't actually look up a second one. But I mean, you can always end that trip and go, look it up, and then just immediately plan the original trip from your current location, like as the destination, and it should be just as good.
Yeah, and Kimberly mentioned that she loves using the Go because it allows her to just inform people about the crowding on the bus, but also see comments too, and arrival times if it's
Yeah.
off.
And
Um,
we love getting that kind of feedback as well. It's really important for us.
Great. And Richard asked, I saw you had one supported city in South America and one in Africa. Do you know what those cities are?
You know, I actually don't, but I can look it up very quickly.
Okay.
I'd be curious as well.
All right, well, we'll give you a few seconds and I'm going to see um, any more um, apps. So while you're looking that up, um, is the app offering any other languages? So like English, Spanish, French, or just a section of it?
Yeah, so the entire app is actually available in 7 languages. So let's see, it's English, Spanish, and French. We offer our services in those because our team members just speak those languages. So that's why support is available in those 3. But otherwise, the app is also supported in Italian, in German, in Portuguese, and in Dutch, I believe is the 7th. And we are really working on expanding this capability, especially when it comes to languages that are not in the Latin alphabet. So that's one of our big projects right now.
All right, so while Ivana is looking up those countries, in the chat, can you just mention some things you learned? And I'll read them off that sort of you didn't know about Transit app. I'm curious to know. I know for me, um, I'm loving the feature where you can create your own avatar. I know one of our transit ambassadors, Diana Hall, is a #1 power user, and she's proud of that badge. So I love the fact that it's incentivizing people to use the app, giving them kudos and credits and accolades. So that's pretty cool. All right.
I'm not coming across the information of what those cities are. I can send it in an email and you can distribute it after, but it's not coming up for some reason. But
Okay, no worries. And then Megan says, I like that we can personalize when we receive service alerts. And so that is definitely something that I think a lot of bus riders want to know. And so, and that's the reason why we hosted this talk, because we really want riders to be informed. And that was one of the biggest issues that they had is communication. When does detours happen, when is service not available or a bus is late? And so I think this app can mitigate that. And so, yeah. And then Kimberly says she also learned about showing accessibility info. So yes, that was interesting to see that the app is very intuitive when it comes to accessibility.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other questions? So Maria Rose says, I am excited that this is available in RVA for GRTC's writers, as well as across other communities in Virginia and across the globe. I hope that this will continue to streamline transport and the experience for the better. So yes, I think this will make people experience a whole lot better. And especially when you're navigating from city to city, you don't have to switch apps. I did have a question for you. I know right now the GRTC or the Richmond interface is not connected with walking and biking. What would that look like? How does cities integrate that into their commute? So if I am walking, if a part of my commute includes walking and biking, and I can get that information on trails and things like, what would that look like for us to add that to this feature?
So the app will definitely route you through trips that might need walking. If we actually really like being able to suggest multimodal trips because that's just the reality for a lot of people. We would like this is something that we're always trying to think about. We would like to be able to integrate a personal bike into a trip that includes a bus as well. This is information that is often available in agencies' feeds, like the information basically of is there a bike rack on a bus?
Mm,
The unfortunate part is we can't know if a bike rack is full or not. So it's
yeah,
difficult to direct riders to take, bike over to this bus stop and then throw your bike on the rack and it's fine. If there's no room, it's a bad direction that we're giving. So we haven't found a way to do that yet, but fingers crossed one day we'll get the data and we'll all be able to take the bike to bus to bike
mhm.
trips that we want to take.
All right. So let's see. And Megan, yes, thank you. We are here. Megan says that thank you all for the hard work you do. I'm a writer and I had no idea we had so many people rallying for us. So yes, RBA Rapid Transit is here. Our goal is to definitely not only educate bus riders, but advocate on your behalf and teach you how to advocate for yourself. So I'm so glad that you've joined this community. We look forward to seeing you at other events and transit talks. Sid Kumar asked, does Link connect to this app to book?
I assume Link is an on-demand service.
Link is an on-demand service that we have, and I don't believe it does. From
I
what
don't believe it does. We
it does,
definitely, or I don't believe it does
oh yeah,
yet, but that's definitely something, that we can do in the future. This is the beginning of our relationship with GRTC, but I think as time goes on, we may be able to integrate more things that, are available. Because it would be really cool for you guys to be able to just, book through the app itself.
yes, because right now there are two apps. So and so to be able to just have one app to get that on-demand service. And I'm glad to see that the on-demand service for other things like Uber and Lyft is connected on the app too. So that's a really good question, Sid. Does anybody have any more questions for Yvonne? And Diana says, I love when I'm usually walking to my stop and the app goes, hurry up, your bus leaves in 1 minute. So the humor and the interactiveness of that app is pretty cool. So thank you for sharing that, Diana. Then she starts to run. Well, yes, and no one, I mean, one of the worst things as a transit user is missing your bus. Like that is like something you don't want. So those alerts are great. And so yeah. And says, will this presentation be available? Yes. So this is recorded. So all of our transit talks are recorded. At the end of the recordings, what we like to do is we like to post them on our YouTube page. So if you or anyone you know could benefit from being able to use the app, understand how to use it in this tutorial, you can direct them to our YouTube page. So it's at RVA Rapid Transit. And so, yeah, so please share that and we'll put it on YouTube within the next 24 hours or so. All right. And thank you for sharing that link. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ivana, for joining us and literally being a success partner. I know you're partnering with GRTC, but you're willing to also partner with the organizations that support the work of GRTC and want to get transit more frequent and far reaching. So thank you again for joining us and pleasure meeting you.
Thank you so much. And I mean, you know, we really want ultimately just for riders to be able to have the best experience. We're all big believers in transit here. So thank you for advocating for such an important service. Really. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. So with that, I'll wrap up. I want to invite everyone again this evening to GRTC's the opportunity to meet with GRTC about the downtown transfer station and making it more permanent. Learn what they're crafting up and learn ways that you as a bus rider can participate in that process. And so this is an opportunity for you to give feedback to the consultants on how you want this transfer station to look, and even give suggestions on what agencies need to be a part of the conversation. So again, that's at 5:30 to 7:30 at 101 East Franklin Street, Richmond Public Library main branch. And so with that, I want to encourage you to take action, ride the bus. By you riding the bus, it shows demand, especially the 1A. You getting on the bus, you encouraging more people to use public transportation, shows a demand for the service and possibly more funding and increasing for that service in our region. And number two, adopt a stop. One of the hugest things that we're very proud of is our commitment to making bus stops dignified places to wait. And because of GRTC's budget issues when it comes to cleaning bus stops and actually the bureaucracy and who does a bus stop belong to once it's installed, we found that a lot of stops aren't cleaned as frequently. And we know that bus riders want clean, dignified places as they're going to work. And so what we've created is the Adopt a Stop program to give citizens, youth groups, and even organizations the ability to adopt a stop and clean that once a month. So I encourage you to do that. And then also share your story. We heard from two bus riders today on the impact of transportation not being accessible in Chesterfield County. So if you have a story where even if you know someone who is currently using the 1A or service has been extended and they're able to, and it's positively impacting their life, we want to hear about it. We want to share those stories because one of the main ways that we do advocacy is in storytelling. And so you can call that number. You can call 804-286-0007 and just leave a voicemail, and we'll be happy to collect that. And then last but not least, donate. Your individual support helps us do the work we do, help us to create content like this to support bus riders in learning new things in transit, but also teaching bus riders on how to educate and advocate for the things that they need in their own communities. So with that, thank you so much for joining us again for RVA Rapid Transit's Transit Talk. We'll see you next time and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you.